11. This is your boy Dwayne Cofield. I'm the host of Drug Dealers to Businessmen. And this is the weekly tap in, and I am tapping in. What's good, family? We are back. Sorry about the technical difficulties, nonetheless. Still the same message. We all deal with it, man. So make sure those who are tapping in, those who are listening for the first time, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Those who are on YouTube, hit the subscribe, hit the notifications. We'll give you a shout out. Shout out to my boy Steven, who always taps in with us, Fifth Ward in the building, man. High five from here. If you are listening on the replay, you're listening on the podcast, man, make sure you listen to the other episodes. Hit the subscribe on whatever you're tuning in to us with, on podcast wise or video. Share it with somebody who you think might enjoy this. We try to drop it. We try to condense it down to about 45 minutes so that you guys can get on with your day, take the inspiration, or at least the things that I've learned. I know, my brother. My apologies, and take what I do, because I use myself as an experiment, man. I consider myself the sacrificial lamb. And my job, in my eyes, from a spiritual standpoint, is to go out there and try a bunch of stuff to show the homies that you can do it. And if I can do it, because I don't consider myself some type of genius, some type of uh, um, academic genius or anything. So, but if I can do all these different things and all these different avenues and genres, I'm trying to leave the breadcrumbs, the blueprint, the treasure map, you name it, for the homies, so that you don't have to go through the same thing I went through. But the first thing, like I was saying, I see me representing one of my oldies but goodies, man. I found this joint, man. I remember I was telling you guys about it. I used to walk around with this shirt all the time when I used to go hiking, and it says always be reading. And the important part about that is, because I talked about reading in books so much, because that's the key to success, man. It's going to enhance your vocabulary. It's going to therefore enhance your scope of life, and therefore hopefully you can start to change the trajectory of your family based on the information that you have now, because everything is all about information, homie. All about information. And if you have the information, you can make the correct moves in order to take advantage of certain things. I had a book maybe about 5-6 years ago on subscription services. And now you're starting to see businesses adopt these subscription services. But somebody had written about it a long time ago. The thing about authors is they're trying to be groundbreaking. They're trying to get ahead of the game. So all the information that they put in the book is usually ahead of most people. The problem is when you hear things, Black people don't read, you start to believe that shit yourself. You know what I'm saying? Even though that ain't the truth, when we get to the pen, we turn into scholars, homie. I was reading trigonometry books, socialism, you name it. I was reading because you're so bored in there. So it's not that we don't read, it's that we think other things are going to be more entertaining than what we're about to read. And it's gaming books, right? Just in terms of wordplay, you're going to enhance your vocabulary so that you understand things, man. I remember I told you guys in the past, I used to be frustrated because I didn't understand words they were saying on the news. And I'm like, that's what drove me to go to college. Like, I didn't understand that. I'm like, I don't like to not understand things. So it's a frustrating experience for me. So that's why I made my move towards that. But we're talking today about fear, doubt, and second guessing yourself, which is something that all of us do, right? In a technical term, a lot of times you'll hear the term imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is basically second guessing or thinking that somebody's going to expose you to say that you really don't know what you're doing. You really not supposed to be here. You slid in under this. So you walk around with that fear that you're going to be exposed somehow, right? Somebody's going to call your number and tell, oh, nah, dude ain't really what he say he is, right? And that's where that fear comes in. We feel like we're going to get exposed. Or some other reasons why we feel like fear, it overtakes us, is we think we're going to lose everything, right? But this is all the more important reason why we need to read success stories, watch successful things, right? When we start to interact and watch these things and absorb them, then we start to see that this is part of the process. That failure, fear, all these things are part of the process, and everybody feels it, right? The thing about it, though, is the hesitation. That hesitation, when it's your time to jump, and there's not going to be a signal, there's not going to be a parade, there's not going to be a birthday invitation like this is your coming out party or anything like that. Nah, nobody's going to tell you when it's time to go. You just need to feel that between you and God and your gut when it's time for you to make that leap. And you very well made, like Steve Harvey said, there's a really good video from Steve Harvey that talks about the leap, right? So Google Steve Harvey leap video, and you'll see what he's talking about. And he talks about taking off, and you seeing people flying and going all these different places because they leaped. They had to absorb that fear, take that fear, and realize that it wasn't shit, right? Because when we look at fear, we analyze fear for what it is. What is it? It's usually misunderstanding of something. We're usually scared of something because we don't know. We don't have the information. So then we need to look at, how do I get the information? Then we need to look at whether somebody defeated it or not as well, right? Is that the case? Did somebody else do this as well? And if that's the case, then I know it can be done, just like we saw bullies in high school when they get knocked out, right? You see somebody else drop, oh, he ain't really. He might have instilled the fear of life in you. But the fact that you've seen somebody else drop him, right? He can be dropped. If you see somebody else accomplish a goal, it can be accomplished, right? So that's why I try to stay close to my folks. I'm like, man, I don't care if you speak to me or not. I don't care if you like my stuff or not anymore. As long as you following my stuff and you catch a glimpse of it, that's all that matters. That's all that God wants. And I don't need that. I start to if I constantly getting feedback and seek feedback and followers and stuff like that, then that's my ego tripping, right? But if the message is getting delivered, I remember my juvenile hall. All I would tell cats is, man, all I need is one cat to do this. I don't care. I don't need 60, 100, how many ever people I'm speaking to. I don't need 100 of y'all. I need one, because somebody's watching him or her. And the fact that somebody's watching him or her means that they're an example to somebody else. That means that they could potentially change as well. So the fact that you getting over your fear, you jumping, you making a leap, you trying something different is going to instill that in other people that are around you, right? So your behavior alone, F what you talking about, because talk is cheap, right? Don't pay attention to what I'm saying. Pay attention to how I'm moving. How's this dude moving? I had 3 uniforms on in 3 days, all companies that I own. So that's the thing. My family, I don't say I in the terms of I, it's my family's business, but not putting on a uniform for somebody else. That takes a lot of guts. That takes a lot of things to overcome in terms of your fears, right? Because I don't want to fail. I don't want everybody to come back and say, man, D went out to LA and he just fell on his face. Now he hoboing it. Nah, I'm gonna get rich or die attitude. That's my whole thing. That's not an option. Like Will Smith said, divorce is not an option. This is not what we're doing. We're not doing divorce. We'll do all this red table embarrassing stuff, but we ain't doing divorce. And sometimes you have to set your limits of what you're not going to do. I'm not going to do this. I'm not getting ready to settle for this. I fear settling. That's my fear is saying, man, this is enough. Right? I fear that. I don't fear the other things, right? The other things, I'm like, man, doesn't matter. As long as I got the ability to try again, right? But we all experience that. We all experience a high level of fear, especially when we're trying something different and new that we don't know about. But the more information that we have, the more information that we obtain, the more information that we get, the less that fear is taking us over, because now we understand, okay, if such and such accomplished it, okay, there's a way to get around it. There's a way to do this. There's also a way to do this and that. Then we start to figure out, okay, there's a map. Okay, he did it. How did he do it? He went that route. Well, maybe I try something a little different. I do some of the same things that he did, but I try something a little different. Case in point, we're developing our chicken brand. This weekend we had an event where they had the Black History Parade and a event afterwards in our local city. We sold out chicken in an hour and a half. That was when it was popping. We never sat down the entire time. The news was out there. All Maxine Walt, it was all kind of people out there. It was popping. And that was a good experience for us, right? But had we not bought those fryers a year ago, a year ago, and tried and experimented, and shout out to Tanisha who listening and watching right now. for being one of our first catering clients, maybe our first catering client, and told us what we need, how do we need to improve, and we improved it, and we went in. But it's taking that leap and saying I'm willing to fall on my face and embarrass myself, that I'm willing to try something different. I knew we had a recipe. Did we need to perfect it on a large scale? Yeah. We didn't have the seasoning right because we ain't never cooked that many pieces of chicken at one time. So now we needed to figure out how we needed to adjust our seasoning. We adjusted it, figured it out. Now we got people that are following us from event to event. So now we're starting to develop our customer base. So we got a 4-year plan. Next thing you know, you'll see us in a spot. Legitimate, building the brand, the whole nine. And that's what I'm trying to encourage the homies to do. I'm showing you step by step how I'm building this brand. I've been doing this podcast longer than I've been selling chicken. So I've told you guys about when we started, how we started, what the objective was, how I got into a restaurant behind the scenes. I got to learn how to work that, learn that drink sell. We experimented this weekend with some strawberry lemonade. Sold out just like that. Realized that margins are fat in beverages. So I'm learning all this stuff by getting in the mix. You gotta say, I have a fear of settling, not taking off, not trying new things, not going out and stretching myself. And this conversation isn't for everybody. A lot of these times, this conversation will weed the people out. Man, I'm not willing to do that. I don't want to work. We worked our tails off. I did a tour on Friday, an event, another like a party, a birthday party Friday night, was up Saturday morning cooking chicken. You can't tell me the hustle ain't me, right? I used to be like that with work, man. Up all night selling quarter pieces and zips. First thing in the morning, I'm on the freeway grabbing some yowder. Just that fast. And that's how you supposed to, that's my work ethic hasn't changed, homie. You know what I mean? The products change, right? Jay-Z told me a long time ago, man, ain't nothing wrong with your aim, dog. Your target is off. You're shooting at the wrong target. So I realized that my hustle's mechanical. I just need to switch products, right? My hustle, my work ethic, all that stuff is the same. I just need to switch products. So I can sell chicken the same way. I figure it out. I'm doubling it up. I know what I'm paying for her piece. Double it up, put something on it, add this in there. Same way we used to do the work. Add a little bit extra, right? It wasn't, you didn't get 7 when you bought a quarter piece. You got 7 too, right? We giving you 7 out the bag. Most cats ain't giving you 7 out the bag. Most of the cats who know me know the game, know exactly what I'm talking about. Squares, I get it. You may not. Don't trip. I'm going to explain it to you in chicken terms. You dig? But that's same concept. And that's what I'm trying to do with this entire podcast, to show you your skills are transferable. The mechanics are there. Doesn't matter, right? You look at Con Creates, man, the homie Vincent. He's showing cats how you can use his creative mind. If we can creatively get this work across from state to state, because he was doing bigger stuff, then he can quarterback campaigns. I need a dude over here that does this. I need a dude to write comedy over here. And he could put together a commercial with convicts. And that's what he's doing. Got over the fear though, because a lot of times we had a fear of sharing our background, that I've been to prison, that I don't want to tell nobody why, because it was a thing of taboo in the past. Now it's showing people that that's actually an advantage. That was the best thing that happened to me. I learned how to run, discipline myself. My dip game got crazy. It was there was a lot of advantages to that. I got some time to myself, right? I saw the worst side of things, or how things can get. So yeah, it was bad. So fear, yeah, we talk about fear, man, but we got to look it dead in the eyes and say it ain't that. It's what I don't know that's stopping me. Now, doubt, when you talk about doubt, doubt's an internal thing. That's whether you believe in yourself or not. And a lot of that's conditioning. When you talk about doubt, that's what somebody constantly told in your head, either you the man and you see them cats who walk through confidently, or you not, right? You not. Sometimes, depending on what family or background you come from, they may not be speaking life into you when you was younger, right? That's okay. God will still give you that handicap, right? He'll still have somebody speaking life into you. You know what I mean? And if you can't find these people speaking life into you, sometimes you got to talk to your damn self and speak it to yourself, because half the time that's going to be your best motivator anyway. right? And you got to, in those times of doubt, you got to tap in. You got to go inside yourself and go back. And sometimes it'll take you to go back in memory and show what you've accomplished in the past. That's why it's so important to keep notes. I just saw one of my old journals. I'm about to dig through that. Damn, I remember this. And you look at things where man, I don't know how I got through that, but you better document it, especially if you're going through something hella rough, because you may not know when you need to go tap back into that. You dig what I'm saying? So make sure you take notes, right? We got to thank people in terms of history. How do we know about history? Somebody broke down and wrote some notes down. So you're part of history. Your journey's historical. It's a one of a kind journey. Nobody else can duplicate it. Nobody else will. But don't doubt yourself. The enemy works on that. He works on fear and doubt. Those are his two buddies right there. He hits you with a 1-2. Fear. Damn, you scared, doubt yourself. You can't beat him. You can't open that up. You can't compete against Kentucky Fried Chicken. I don't want to compete against Kentucky Fried Chicken. I want to create my own lane. Now what? Well, you don't have the money. I'll get it. It'll keep coming. Me and the universe got plans, homie, that you ain't got shit to do with. Well, look at such and such. They failed. These are the conversations. This is how doubt deals with you, right? It has these little sideball conversations that slowly but surely talk you out of your stuff, hit by hit, right? And then you go, look at that restaurant that failed around the corner, right? Not realizing that you ain't supposed to be there. You're supposed to open your shit on Melrose, right? But you gotta expand your mindset though. You dig what I'm saying? Like most of the time, it's like you got to take risk, right? With big risk comes big rewards. You got to gamble with the big dogs, and the biggest dog you can gamble with is yourself. Bet on yourself. Everything. Bet on black. You put on black. I'm betting on black. That's me. Period. I'm putting all my chips on myself. So I'm gonna invest in myself. I'm gonna take care of myself. I'm gonna make sure I'm reading the right things. I'm making sure I'm listening to the right people. And I'm eliminating things. I'm getting my code. You already know, snip, cut them off. They ain't speaking life until you get your scissors out. Cut that ass off. You don't need bad fruit hanging on your tree, homie. It ain't good for you. Even if you ain't got no other fruit, you don't need no bad fruit. You feel me? So you got to get involved in yourself, man. So the more you know, the more you've done, the more you've developed a track record of success, of leaping over things, of obstacles coming your way, and you looking them dead in the face and saying, man, please make sure you document that, because there are going to be times of doubt. And you're going to have to remember, man, I remember when I was spooked on this. And I said it wasn't nothing. Let me handle this the same way. Let me adopt that same mindset. Right? Because new things. We was on a Ferris wheel in Seattle. Man, that thing was high as I don't know what. We was all like a little nervous. And then you start to calm down and say, what's the worst that can happen? All right, we fall, man. It's cold. We'll get out of this. What's the worst? And then you start to say whatever and start to enjoy the moment. Because if you let doubt start to sink in, you're going to constantly be thinking that and second guessing, which leads to our other one, which is second guessing yourself. But you have to overcome doubt by experience, right? You doubt yourself until you're capable, and then you shock yourself. Damn, I didn't even know I could knock that cat out, homie. I didn't even know I could do this. I didn't know I could teach a class. I just taught 2 classes. One, we set up there, had the entire class, add Google Analytics, develop a website, a basic website, add Google Analytics, set up a goal, Search Console. Yeah, Google Analytics trying to set up Search Console, talk to them about redirects, a lot of stuff that I didn't even think I could teach about, right? Stuff that I had no clue about. But I'm like Will Smith, learn that shit on the way. You don't have to know it now. Say yes and learn, right? Commit to it, because a lot of times that's what God's forcing you to do anyways. He wants you to go learn it. Why? So that you can build it for yourself. The more you learn how to deal with this web stuff and you could teach these students, you might start talking to yourself. You might start making these adjustments on your own website so that you don't have to hire a consultant, right? Teach your damn self. And I'm gonna get you paid to teach yourself. And I'm like, this is bananas. Marketing, retail. consumer behavior. I'm teaching all this stuff. I just left class. All these advantages, right? And I'm sitting up, how did he pull that off? I just went after it. I learned every step. I started off as what was it? I think it was like a intern program. Did an internship or this thing for like 5, 6 weeks. Fought traffic, drove in traffic, thick traffic, minimum pay, but it will set me up for this other stuff. So you got to get over doubt. You got to move on because it will have you pinned. Won't move. You feel what I'm saying? You won't, man. And F what somebody else thinks. Because this is the thing, and the same thing Will Smith said, right? People will cast their fears onto you. This is what they fear. Man, how you gonna do that, man? The rent in LA is expensive. Nigga, that's good to you, it is. Right? I remember there was a story. The guy said, man, the guy bought a car, Cadillac, brand new Cadillac. He wanted it, and gas prices were going through the roof. Guy came up to him talking about, hey, man, you see gas prices going through the roof. You bought this big giant Cadillac. Do you know how much gas prices cost? He said, well, you know what? I like my car. I'll just have to earn more money. But I'm not changing what I want, right? And I don't care what you fear. That's your fear. You own that, homie. That's don't here. Let me give you some. You ever know here? You want some? I want none of your nasty fear. You know, like everybody trying to give you their play. Here, you want some of my play? Nah, no, thank you. I'm good. Nah, I'm all right. Because they'll try to pass that on to you, all the fears and mindsets that they've adopted, that they've got passed on to them, and they said, thanks, I'll take it. Right? Nah, I'll pass, dude. Because that doubt, their doubt, you start to believe what they believe. You really believe that? Who cares what they believe? You don't know what their background is. You don't know where they come from. You don't know what their intention is. Sometimes people don't want to see you succeed because they'll prove that they're full of shit. Right? If you succeed, then you calling me out. I'm supposed to be better than you. And you did it? Ooh, it stings to a whole nother degree. So they'll come and hate on you, right? Come with some suggestive bullshit. Oh, man, you read this? Slot sends you an article. Look what happened. I remember Cass was sending me articles on the tour accidents on tour buses. You see this? The laws changing. You see this? And I'm still in business, homie. You see that? You feel me? So that's the thing. You can't eat that. You can't even, man. I defy statistics daily. That's my MO. Whatever the stats say that's gonna happen, I will bet on me. I don't care what they say. And that's the attitude you need to have, right? Not the doubt, damn, who am I? I don't know if I can fit. I don't know if I can hang with them. I don't know if I could rise to that level. Yes, you can. Why can't you? Why can't you? They did. You just need to figure out the recipe. And if they don't tell you the recipe, Google the recipe. Period. But don't let nothing deny you, not nobody, not no suggestive ass BS. None of that. Not their doubts. That's not going to deny me. Nothing is. Only thing that can deny me is me. That's it. That's the only possibility. And that option's out. So I'm going after everything I possibly can now. Because me and fear had this relationship now. The more I see you, okay, the more I know I need to move toward. Let me get that. Outside of stuff, irrational fear, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, doubt as well, man. Who else? Right? I got more confidence in my game than anybody else's. Why wouldn't I? Bet, okay, on me. Right? And that's the thing. So we have fear, doubt, and never second guess yourself. Never. Don't second guess yourself, man. You are brilliant. Your mind keeps an accurate record. All that, right? It's the best machine that we have on the planet. Shuts HP down, Dell, what is Watson, whoever the hell that is, the AI thing. It shuts all that down. This computer that God gave us. So why would you say, man, yeah, I don't know if you're accurate. What you mean you don't know if it's accurate or not? It's your brain. It keeps your data, gives you can that's your direct connection to God. How in the world are we still breathing with no batteries? Right? This is a God thing. So you have to understand that. So when it's talking to you, second guessing yourself or how you slipping off the diving board and breaking your face, as opposed to leaping into it and just bam. I don't care if you belly flop, you can do it again. You'll figure it out. Right? But second guessing yourself, they'll get you shot. Is he trying to is I don't is that a you better get to it, homie, because that'll get you busted on. You understand? I mean, it's that serious, homie. So don't second guess yourself. Second guessing yourself in business. Second guessing yourself talking to a girl. Get your girl cracked. Ah, man, let me. Boom. Here come a square scoops. Or why? Because you second guessed yourself. You should. She liked you actually. He just moved faster. Second guessing yourself in business. How you like? Damn, I had that same idea. You know how many cats came up to me talking that shit with that bus? Oh man, I had that same idea, but you're in a cutlass still. You're still in the whoopty wham. You know what I'm saying? Telling me from the BMW and the Lex Luthor. You're not telling me from a bus that you fixing up. Like, man, I had that same idea, and I'm on my way to get this done now too, man. I'm on my way to go see 2 buses. You still telling me that you had that same idea? What that means to me, I don't know. I honestly don't. But what that does, what the way I really interpret it as, you should have moved then. Because your intuition, you second guessed. And you didn't make the move, and God said, okay, you don't want this bag? Okay, well, cool. I'll just pass it on to somebody else who will enjoy it and actually benefit from it. But it's not going to waste. No new ideas, no nothing new under the sun, none of that. Food trucks have been popping for a minute, right? Just learned they used to call them chuck wagons back in the 1800s. So food trucks ain't a new idea, new concept. It was just flip, but they basically chuck wagon. So is it impossible? Is it no? Is it hard? Yes, can be. But what are you built for? Settling, chilling, posting, accepting. I'll just take this. I'll just, man, what? Life got so much more to give you. You tripping. But who you talking to? That's another question. Who is in your environment? Who you bouncing shit off of and they bouncing trash back to you? Because they're not reciprocating that same energy, right? They always coming up with some type of problem. I cut people off with problems. You come to tell me about your problem? Whoop, snip, snip. That's happening quickly. And whether you take it personal or not is not relevant. You bring the same type of energy to our conversation. We get to sharpen an iron and sparks get to flying. That's when fires get started. And then we get to speaking life and blowing oxygen into that fire. That's when flames get going. And then we get high energy. We get high energy accomplishment. We get high energy conversations. We get high energy events. We get high energy get-togethers, right? Because we're feeding and vibing off of each other. That's the key. That's the key to social companionship, all that stuff. It should be beneficial. You shouldn't have somebody come around you that brings drama to the game constantly. If they bring drama to it, man, that's going to affect you. If somebody's constantly hesitating and they're not making decisions, that's going to make you second guess yourself. So you can't second guess yourself, and you got to check your company in a constant basis, right? You are the average of the 5 closest people to you. So look to the left and to the right and figure out where you are, somewhere in between that. And you need to step your game up, make people come with you. Don't have to go down and go try to find them and make it easy for them. Make them come up there and touch you. It's important and imperative that you do so. Because you constantly reaching back is taking your eye off the goal. And if you're constantly taking your eye off the goal, you're going to miss your exit. You're going to miss your detour because you're not paying attention. And you're not going along with your gut. You're second guessing yourself. You're trying, nah, I shouldn't. When I saw there's a chicken spot, everybody sells chicken in LA. And that could be interpreted 2 different ways. Either you can hang or you can't. So the average person say, man, I want to go where they ain't selling no chicken. I want to, no, you don't want to compete. That's the difference. I don't mind competing. I came where the players play. Period. This is it ain't no it's not a joke out here. So this is how I think of myself though. Right. And I didn't second guess it. When I was on the way, we was on the way, man. We will figure it out. That's what we were on. We will figure it out, and we ain't left yet. And that's the kind of faith. I'm not suggesting that you guys make irrational decisions, but sometimes you got to go out on faith, and all the time, faith ain't gonna make sense. It's not. It's just not. Especially the time. I don't know how we gonna do this shit. And sometimes you may fail. That's just part of the game. And I'm not advocating. I'm only speaking from my position, and that what worked for me. I tell people you can get inspired off my life, but what worked for me worked for me. You got to find out what works for you. But those three components, fear, doubt, and second guessing yourself, outro. And if you can't make them out, you got to figure out how to make them work for you. And in fear, there's this thing called fear setting that Tim Ferriss talks about. And fear setting is also laying out the actual fear and what the worst case scenarios can be. Right. And when you logically put it on paper, it sounds crazy. It sounds kind of like this is Mickey Mouse. I'm tripping. Right? What's the worst case? Why do we such and so? What are the probabilities of somebody actually doing this? Okay. And you start to put it down scientifically, and you're like, man, the hell am I worried about? And 70 to 90% of things that we fear never come true. So we waste that energy worrying. We waste that energy trying to figure out these things, and they're not even going to come true. That's the craziest thing. So yeah, man, eliminate those out the entire process. You have to if you want to move forward. Right now, there's a lot of fear on the markets. Right, stock market, crypto. Yeah, price is down, but this is a time where if you were thinking you were out of it, this is an opportunity to get in. And I've talked to you guys about that over and over again. I'm not a financial advisor by any means. I'm just saying when to take advantage of common sense moves, right? Good time to do it, right? But I figured out in terms of what we were doing with the chicken, LA is a destination. It's always been a vacation spot. And when people come out there, they are interested in spending money. So they're not really tripping off the pricing. They're looking for good food. We got the recipe. It took us a long time to get it, but we built the brand. We're building systems now. We're spreading out. We're getting a bigger space. Now we're about to have 2 tents. We're learning this next level stuff, man. And we're doing it together as a family, which is the most beautiful thing. So when you go out and experiment, right? My whole goal with the businesses that we build is that it brings our family closer together. It allows us to do business together. And I want my businesses, I want family to be around and we all be like Tabasco family where we keeping this money all in, or like Nipsey Hussle, all money in type shit. You dig? So that's why I'm telling you about legacy. Building started now. It may not be what it looks like, but 5 or 6 generations, it may feed your family forever. Right. So that's the thing, man. Somebody had to get it cracking. Somebody got to take notes. Somebody got to get the shit started. And we're all dealing with fear, doubt, and second guessing ourselves. No doubt about it. We're all dealing with that. But the main ingredient is how do we overcome it and make that a thing of the past? Put it down, write your notes, how you overcame it, because you may need to go to it. Your family may find it 20, 30 years after your death and use it as a reference. Look at what grandpa did. Look at what he was going through as he was trying to build this thing. Look at what grandma was going through. She was trying. Look at the pictures, man. This is let's keep it going. Right? Uncle Nearest, they bringing back that whiskey. She was just on Tavis Smiley talking about that. That was the guy who supposedly taught Jim Beam or Jack Daniels how to do whiskey, whatever. Right? But she's bringing that brand back. So that's the thing. Legacy is the key right now. Building businesses and legacy, at least for me, because it's bringing my family together. So fear, doubt, second guessing yourself, fear, figure out how to make it work for you. If you need to do fear setting, doubt, dig into your past, look at your experiences and recognize who the F you are. You got to go back, man. If you look at what you've accomplished, how you overcame stuff, how you pull yourself out of situations, go back, man. Document that shit because it matters. because you doubting yourself, and don't adopt anybody else's doubt. Right? When they start handing out, you want some of my doubt plate, man, deny it. Nah, I don't want to taste none of that shit. Pass. I'm good. And then second guessing yourself. Don't go against God because your intuition, that's your gut telling you. Your gut is saying those who soldiers have been on the street, your intuition has saved your life or damn near got you killed because you were like, man, I knew this cat was right. So don't second guess yourself, man. Don't bust your head on the diving board. Once you get your ass up there, man, jump. And I know it takes a lot of heart and balls to get up on things, but you're gonna have to take that leap. And if you haven't taken the leap, I encourage you to do so. Take that leap. Indeed, you should, and do so soon. That will conclude our weekly tap in for this week. I certainly appreciate you guys tapping in. As always, make sure you hit the subscription button for those who are watching on YouTube, those who are watching the replay. We certainly appreciate that. Also, if you can, hit the subscribe. And also, if you can, leave us a review. Reviews are so important to us. Just go on iTunes, leave us a review. We have a few right now, but we're always in search of more. It helps people discover us from all over the globe, which we have listeners in Germany, Sweden, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, India, Russia. Well, I don't know about Russia right now, but we have listeners from all over. So we certainly appreciate the continued support. And we will see you all next week. Have a wonderful week. Tapping out.